Live from Smitty1.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Take a lap. It is time to mock draft, ladies and gentlemen, so prepare to mock draft. And we have a little bit of news to break. Rashad Penny signing a one-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks. So let's see what happens here in terms of his fantasy value. It looks like the former first rounder turned down more money elsewhere to build off his stellar second half of the season in 2021. He gets $5.75 million with the ability to earn up to $6.5 million. So let's give Penny a round of applause for inking that deal. I'm excited for Penny, but the problem is they got no quarterback. Like this, if this was Watson or if this was a potential, big name quarterback under center in Seattle, then we'd be way more excited about Penny. Right now it feels like okay, is he going to be held back type of thing? But, not a bad move. Some news at least right now in the NFL news landscape. Allen Robinson is a Ram. What do I think about that? People have been asking me like crazy. Hey, Smitty, what do you think about A-Rob? By the way, we're going to be mock drafting here in T-minus, let's say 2 minutes. Okay, I'll drop the link in 2 minutes. Let me see if I can adjust this real quickly, because you can't even see that. There we go. Boom. Okay, so T-minus 2 minutes we'll be mock drafting, so get ready for that. Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson had a lot of opportunity in 2021 to rebound, show signs of life. Look, Mooney did it. I get that there was quarterback madness going on, rotation, but he did have multiple quarterbacks to show that he could still do it. He did have Mooney doing it next to him and delivering. Like, I don't know why A-Rob didn't do anything at all significant in 2021. It makes me worry that there's something wrong with him. It's not the situation. But, this is a good environment to be dropped into. I would say A-Rob's definitely got wide receiver 3 potential, but am I drafting him as a wide receiver 2 in fantasy? Absolutely not. I'll go near him at wide receiver 3 value in 1 or 2 leagues, but I'm not banking on A-Rob. I did not see enough last year to think, just being transplanted into this Rams offense is going to be the magical cure for A-Rob. It might be, but I'm not willing to bank bank multiple seasons on it. Robert Woods goes from that situation over to Tennessee, and I don't like that situation too much either. This isn't a pass-happy offense. This guy's coming back from an ACL tear. Wide receivers changing teams is never an easy transition, and yet he's also recovering from an ACL tear. So combine everything together, not super excited about either of these situations to the degree other people are. I might add. I'm not down on A-Rob too much, but I definitely don't feel like he's got the upside that a lot of people are trying to suggest he has him, in my opinion, and that could change. Link is dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the link. It's there. Boom. Pinned it. Let's go. Robinson wasn't the problem. The Bears were the problem. We'll find out. A-Rob definitely has an opportunity to prove that it was the Bears, but why did Mooney succeed? He had multiple quarterbacks throwing him the football. So I'm just saying be cautious of him. I'm not saying avoid A-Rob. I'm not saying A-Rob can't do any good in a Rams environment. He certainly could. But don't draft him as a wide receiver 2 is kind of my point. Let's see where Watson goes. The Bengals are building for the long haul with all these offseason acquisitions, says Swaggy. Let's see here. What's up, Spacula? First in the building today was Jordan, then Spacula, then James, then Tariq, then Zachary, and Jeb, and Philip, and Sebastian, and Pocket, and Kyle, and you guys. I can't name them all, but I'm very, very glad to have you all here. Hit the like button if you're new. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get to some mock drafting. Start draft. We got a full crew. That was quick. We're gonna do one more mock. Don't worry. Start draft. Let's rock and roll. Tariq is in the one spot. Oh God, Tariq. Hold on. Pause draft. We had it at a 10-second timer last time. Sorry, Tariq. Tariq still got it done. He doesn't mess around. You can't shake Tariq. You can't shake Tariq. You give him 10-second timer, he still does it. All right, okay, resume draft. Sorry about that. We were training. We were doing some hardcore draft training earlier. The last time we mocked, and we were at a 10-second timer. That's called rigorous mock draft training. Cooper Kupp goes 2. This is a 1 QB redraft PPR. Javonte goes number 3. Kyle, I was really hoping to get Javonte because I thought you were going to take Najee. And I really believe that this guy, Javonte Williams. Look at his shirt. Oh, God! Najee. Okay, look at his shirt. Javonte season, baby. I really thought Javonte was going to fall, and I really believe Javonte could very well finish as the number 1 running back in 2022. Do not count on it. Do not bank on it. Don't wager on it. Don't expect it. Just be grateful if it happens, because it very likely could happen. You've got JT with no quarterback right now. And maybe JT gets who? Maybe JT gets who? Who could JT get? Jimmy G? Who could JT get? Could it be Baker? Like, maybe Matt Ryan gets traded to Atlanta. That could still happen. If Matt Ryan gets traded to Atlanta, I'm excited. I'm excited about JT. I'm sorry, in Indianapolis. If Matt Ryan gets traded out of Atlanta to Indianapolis, I'm excited. Okay? So Matt Ryan, that could still happen. It's harder to move Matt Ryan given the contract extension, and they kick the money down the road a little bit. But this is a real possibility still, in my opinion, because the Colts have the cap to do it. They can eat a big contract, and they won't even bat an eye. They won't even blink. They can eat a big fat contract like Matt Ryan. So if Indy gets Matt Ryan, JT is going to have no problems whatsoever. But let's just say Baker lands in Indy. You know, that's like their best case scenario right now, unless they go after a rookie. So I'm not excited about JT's situation. He's JT, you know. I mean, he's Jonathan Taylor. We got to take him a 1, right? But do we want the 1 pick right now if we're sitting on maybe Javonte at 3 or 4? And you know what's crazy, guys? People think we're nuts for going Javonte at 3 and 4. Let him. Javonte's ADP will climb. Javonte Williams, mark my words. Javonte Williams' ADP will climb. It's Javonte season, baby. His ADP will climb. And everybody making fun of us for liking him at 3 and 4, they're going to be sorry when they see we're correct and the general population catches up to a Javonte 2 or 3 overall. And you know what? Maybe it takes a Melvin Gordon, new piece of news or something like that. I don't know. And even if Melvin Gordon is signed, not going to affect me. I want a 3rd or a 6th, to be honest, says Swaggy, talking about the draft slot he appreciates most in 2022. I better start. We got 65 in here. Punch the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get our mock draft on. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I've got to cue some people here. Man. It's getting a little thin. Don't do it. Okay. So I'm comfortable with A.J. Brown here, but I just want to dig a little deeper. DK, too early for DK, given he has no quarterback. I'm sure Debo already went. Yes, he did. Sometimes he's ranked really, really low. I'm going to have to go A.J. Brown because I'm running out of time. I don't mind this pick. I don't mind pairing A.J. with Najee. I won't lie. A.J. Brown worries me a little bit with his knees and injury history, but he still could be he could be a top 5 wide receiver if he's on the field for the full 17 games. But it is a concern. Like when you draft A.J. Brown, you're not feeling 100% comfortable when, you know, you're looking for other options. You're like, okay, who else is there when you're on the clock there? I thought about Kelsey. I think he's a tough early second round pick for me. I don't ever draft him in the first round. I don't really ever draft him in the top of the second ever, and I rarely draft him in the middle of the second. In fact, I don't draft him in the second at all, in the middle or first. But at the late second round, if I'm not feeling great about the other options, it's not horrible. But we got to think about, this could be the year Kelsey starts missing games. This could be the year that we continue to say it's not going to happen. I'm going to start putting the topic of whatever player we're talking about right on screen here. Kelsey could start missing games in 2022 or 2023. It's not crazy to think about. Okay, it's getting close here. Who do I grab? I need to start queuing my players. There's a couple favorites that I have that are almost always available to me at this pick. I've got to say, J.K. Dobbins, way too early, Kyle, but do your thing, pal. Do your thing. I've got to say, my favorite third round pick right now is Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker. I absolutely love landing these two rookie running backs. Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall, absolute monsters as a third round draft selection. Now, do I think that we'll be able to land Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker on the regular come August? Probably not. Like, these guys will be borderline like turn picks at 24, 25. But for me, Kenneth Walker, I like Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker, but Kenneth Walker, number 2 in college football in yards, number 1 in elusiveness. He was number 1 in elusive rating, number 1 in forced missed tackles. We're talking about Kenneth Walker. Give us some respect. But Smitty, I love Breece Hall. I do too. Okay? Just because I chose Kenneth Walker doesn't mean I don't also love Breece Hall. Not to mention, situation's everything. So yeah, Breece Hall might climb my board and be my number 1 rookie running back, sure. But guess what? The stats say Kenneth Walker's a monster. And everyone says this draft class is weak. I've got news for you. Maybe it's not as deep. Okay, maybe we won't have a bunch of Justin Jeffersons and arguing about Jamar Chase and like crazy last two drafts we've had for wide receivers have been unbelievable. And in the running back class, you know, you got Javonte and Najee. You can't get much better than that. Look at Javonte went 3, Najee went 4. Overall, very good running back class last year. But I'm telling you right now, people are undervaluing Walker and Hall. Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker, and the potential upside that these two monsters have in the right environment. Will both of them land in good situations? I don't know. But because running backs, they fall so far, any team can take a running back. It used to be back in the day, the number 1 rookie running back. We're talking like early 2000s when some of you were in diapers. When some of you were in diapers, shartening your pants and sitting in it for a half hour before mommy or daddy knew you needed to be changed. You literally would see a running back get drafted, okay, to the worst team, second worst team, third worst team, fourth worst team, a team that drastically needed a running back, always got the number 1 or number 2 running back. You know, that was the way it was. Now running backs, you're lucky if they go in round 1. And so therefore, any team could grab one. A cloudy situation is more likely to grab the number 1 or number 2 running back than in previous years back in the day. Because you wouldn't waste the draft capital, which was in the first round, top 10, top 15. Every time the running backs would go that high, you would not waste the draft capital if your team didn't desperately need a running back. Now you can take a running back in a cloudy situation in the second round. So Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, we can't guarantee both of them will land in good landing spots. But definitely feel like, let's go back to the draft. I'm sorry. Definitely feel like we're looking at, 2 potential Two potential monsters. We got an echo. Let me get rid of that mic. Is that better? Mahomes, Chubb, Eckler, Kittle. It's good. Yeah, Mahomes shouldn't have fell to 4.2. That's a good squad, Spacula. That's a good squad, pal. With Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, both monsters. Two of my favorite players to grab. I don't know what I'm going to do here. What to do? What to do? Burrow goes. That makes me sad. That's okay. I'm gonna try a later QB approach here. Okay. I got two running backs. Not taking Kyler Murray here. Keenan Allen's an option. I feel like even though his value has taken a huge dive, like monster dive, I still feel like this is good value for DK. You know, we're almost at the turn into the 5th round. I'll take that chance. DK, I mean, he can do well. He's one of those wide receivers that can go up and grab a football with almost anybody. So I'll take a jump ball wide receiver like this and assume that his quarterback situation could improve a little bit between now and August. So we got Boston. Okay, let's go over these teams real quick. We'll start from the 12 spot. We got Aaron Jones, Herbert, Waddle, Debo. Waddle's a little early there. We're in redraft, pal. We're in redraft. M Mabbit. We're in redraft, bro. Don't ruin Waddle's ADP by taking him too high. 2.1 at pick 13. We love Waddle. We love Waddle here, but you are gonna absolutely destroy Waddle's ADP if you keep drafting like this.
Take a look.
B Mabbit, whatever your name is, we appreciate you. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm essentially telling you that you're correct in liking him, bro. Like, you're absolutely, there's nothing wrong with liking him, but we just don't want his value to go through the roof. Let's see here. I feel like I'm in a little bit of trouble here. I was trying to make him take a lap, not paying attention, and now I could get screwed. Ah! I don't mind that because I really love Russell Wilson this year, but I did not want to take him that early. But my team's still fire. There I go, running my mouth, making people take laps. And in the meantime, I'm near timing out because I'm not paying attention. Okay, let's start queuing up some oh no, I'm done drafting. We're through round 5. Okay, let's start this next draft. Copy the link. Copy said link. Drop it in the chat. 5, 4, 3, 2. Go time. Pinning link. Fill it up. That's draft number 2. We're still doing draft number 1. Let's review the teams. Let's go from left. Taylor, Eli Mitchell, Josh Allen, James Conner, McLaurin. Love it. Good job, Tariq. Cup, Barkley, Kelsey, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson. Not too shabby, but Boston. I love that spot, and I'm not loving the team. So, but hey, Barkley might be your guy. Deontay, no quarterback to throw to him right now. I'm not loving that, but it's not horrible value either. But I'm just not excited about it. So, do your thing. Don't listen to me if those are your boys. Javonte Williams, David Montgomery's a little bit early, Kyle. So like about 12 to 15 picks too early, Kyle. J.K. Dobbins is about, in my opinion, a round early, Kyle. Cooper, Judy, like the wide receivers, given you waited so late, but I'm seeing you do this triple stack running back or triple stack wide receiver, forcing the position, not drafting the player, Kyle. I don't like it, Kyle. Najee Harris, A.J. Brown, Walker, DK Wilson. Again, I messed up on the Wilson pick. Smitty. I'll yell at myself. I love Wilson this year. Love him, but definitely didn't have time to make that pick. So boom, bad on me. Hill, Hopkins. Hopkins is a wee bit early. Iglesias a wee bit early. You can get him later. He's a steal. I like Hopkins, but I don't know that I'm drafting him over guys like AJ Brown. Over, even Josh Allen. I know Josh Allen's early. I'd take Kenneth Walker over Hopkins, and I love Hopkins, but Hopkins needs to be your third round pick. I think your third drafted player. But not a bad team. Pitts is fantastic value. I'm gonna tell you that's gonna be worth it right there. Spiller, I don't like Spiller. He's slow. A good landing spot could change my mind. You're going a little rookie happy there, Iglesias, with Spiller and Olave, with your fourth and fifth drafted player. But Iglesias, that's why we mock draft, pal. That's why we mock draft. Jefferson, Diggs, Breece Hall, Burrow, DJ Moore. Jimmy, I like it. I think you're a little weak at running back. I like Breece Hall. I would have loved it if you followed up that Burrow pick with a runner. I don't know who was available, but then I would have really loved this team. It's still good, though. Sebastian got Henry, Lamb, Gibson, Hawkinson, Lamar. That's quietly a really decent squad. Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Mark Andrews, Jacobs, Watson. See, here's where you made a mistake, Zeke. Watson's going to miss maybe 4 to 6 games. I do like him, but I think maybe a little bit early given he's going to potentially miss time. But I still like the pick. It's not a bad pick. I thought about it myself back at the beginning, or back 3 or 4 picks ago, like with my pick. But I didn't go with it because of the 4 to 6 games. But if you fill the void well, you draft a backup, maybe it works out really well. What I don't like is going 0 running back and then hitting the tight end position before you hit running back, or at least take quarterback if for any reason like Mahomes was there or something. And he was. Mahomes was there. Mahomes over Mark Andrews all day long. If you're going to go 0 running back, I wouldn't go 0 running back and hit Andrews there. Because now, look, you got Jacobs, who's very unreliable. Yeah, his situation may have improved. They may be in the red zone more. They may have more goal line opportunities. But Jacobs is a hard to trust running back, in my opinion. And to be your number one and have no other running back to speak for. Mixon, Swift, ETN, Evans, Burks, not bad. I'm not a fan of the three running back stack, but this is not a bad attempt at it. Jordan, Dalvin Cook, McCaffrey, Kamara, Waller, Murray. Like, let's just say this: if McCaffrey stays healthy, Cook stays on the field, and Kamara doesn't get suspended, I mean, goodness gracious, bro. Goodness gracious. The new link, it's already full, bro. The second draft. Spacula's got Chubb, Eckler, Kittle, Mahomes, Higgins. Love it. Awesome team, top 4. Why do I have such a tough time reading this name? B. Mabbott. Samuel, Waddle, Herbert, Aaron Jones, Fournette. Pretty solid team considering you took Waddle way too early and you ruined his ADP. Don't do it. Start the draft. I didn't even get in this draft.
Take a look.
I hate to do this to you guys because you all jumped in, but I didn't even get in the draft. So I'm going to have to... I would just do it, but it's not going to be entertaining if I'm not involved in it. So I'm sorry. We got to do another draft. I apologize. It happens. It happens once a year. There it is. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, I know someone's going to be really upset. I finally got in, Smitty, and you killed me. Oops. All right, you guys filled up that quick. There we go. 1 spot left. Boom, it's gone. All right, let's roll. Hopefully everybody got a spot again. I apologize. I feel like a very bad person. Okay. JT, the madman, the madcap, going 1.1. Franchise. Tariq, who you taking, bro? Javonte season. Tyreek Hill. Go. Wow. It's not that it's bad, bro. It's not that it's bad. It's just like his ADP's, people are pushing him out of the top 5 sometimes for wide receivers. And he's going not only in the top 5 overall, but the first wide receiver and number 3, Emil. That is high, bro. That is high. Woo. Hey, for those of you that missed out, what do you think I am? Some kind of son of a bee? Here goes another mock. We'll do it side by side. This time I'm going to take the 2 spot. And I'm going to drop this in the chat right now. We'll draft right now, side by side. How's that? If I made you upset, here we go. Mock draft number 3. Let's see if it can catch up to the other mock draft. Jump into it. Okay, so Jonathan Taylor goes 1 in this mock draft number 2 that we're doing. Javonte goes 2nd. Tyreek Hill goes so early at 3rd. Woo! Najee 4. I love where Najee's fallen. Najee's fallen to 3 or 4, and I'm liking it a lot. Cook 5. McCaffrey so high at 6. Dak is GOAT. Jeez. Bro, what's next? Dak Prescott at 2.7. McCaffrey at 1.6. Cooper Kupp 1.7. Love it. Eckler 1.8. Good value. Henry, I'm worried about it, but I can't blame you. 1.9. Adams 1.10 seems early to me to make him the 3rd wide receiver when he just moved teams. Got a little bit of, in my opinion, a downgrade in targets, in receptions, and touchdowns. Maybe the yardage is the same. Justin Jefferson, absolute steal. Highway robbery at 1.11, Jordan. Followed by another highway robbery pick at 2.2 in Jamar Chase. What are you guys doing? Who's letting Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson drop to Jordan at 1.11 and 2.2? What is going on here? Scotty, what are you doing? Scotty, you had one job to do, Scotty, at the 12 pick. You had one job to do, Scotty, to block Jordan from getting Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. You had one job to do, Scotty. Read the room, Scotty. You just let Jamar Chase drop to Jordan at the 1.11. Okay, I better start cueing some peeps, or I'm going to be yelling at myself in a second here. I do find myself going quarterback at this turn pick a lot because I'm not, especially when I'm drafting with all of you guys, and you guys know what you're doing, and you literally snipe perfectly all the players that I want. And so that I end up getting stuck with, having to go with the early quarterback approach, which I don't mind. I'm just saying I notice it on the regular. It's definitely a regular thing when I'm drafting with all of you fine folks. Even Scotty. Scotty, I can't believe you, pal. You had one job to do, Scotty. Where's Scotty? Is he in the chat? Where you at, Scotty? Okay, Gibson. So, this is tough, man. Do I go Diggs? Do I go AJ Brown again? Diggs is so hard to trust right now because he didn't quite do. We'll go AJ Brown right here. I like Diggs there. I don't mind Diggs there. Part of me wanted to go Diggs because I've been going Kenneth Walker so much in these mock drafts, but I just can't help myself. I see Kenneth Walker there. I grab him. Super excited about Kenneth Walker. Guy's going to be amazing in the right spot. Clearly, we're predicting things right now. Clearly, we're making assumptions. Is Kenneth Walker your rookie 1.1? Absolutely, as of right now. But Breece Hall or Walker could be the 1.1 rookie like lock. It depends on situation. But Walker, I mean, Breece Hall had a great combine, but they still pro days coming. But Walker was he was the top of so many categories. Number 1 elusive running back in college football. Number 1 in forced missed tackles. Number 2 in yardage. Like, just across the board, this guy was ultra impressive. And if he falls to the right environment, like, Walker's going to be a top 5 to 10 running back. Top 5 to 10 running back. I'm not a fan of Spiller for a handful of reasons that I map out in a lot of videos and on sleeperu.com. Spiller's slow. He had a horrible combine. Granted, he was injured, but his combine scores and everything, every category matched what I already said about him. He was slow. He wasn't going to look ultra quick. He wasn't going to score well in any category. And then he was hurt, didn't run, but did all the drills. And his scores matched what I said, that he would be below average everywhere. So Spiller is a complete avoid for me unless he lands in like just the most ideal spot. At my 3.1 pick, I feel like the only players, in retrospect, I would have liked as much would have been Mahomes, maybe. I love Herbert later. I'd rather draft Herbert later than Mahomes early. But in our drafts, Herbert's going in round 3. In the real world, he's going in round 5. So if you wait on Herbert, you might get him in round 5. And he could be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football 2021. In fact, you might see me move Herbert to the 1. The QB 1 on my rankings at Sleeper U. Mixon, Lamb, Akers, and who you drafting, Scotty? Oh, here's this draft. You guys ready to start this draft? I'm sorry, I completely forgot. Let's roll. I apologize for the delay on that. I'm up in draft number 3. We got draft 2 right here. Draft 3 right here. I'm going with Javonte season. I'm wearing the shirt. I'm fully prepared. I've got the gear on. We're going Javonte. What's up, Vamp? What's up, Gary? What's up, True Gaming? Jorge. Ball is life. Meet the Woo. Drew. Terry Roberts on the clock. ETN, not a bad running back 1 considering you went 0 RB all the way through your first 3 picks. But I will say McLaurin's a wee bit early there, Terry. But I still like the squad. It looks really, really solid. Okay, we're good on this draft. I want to make sure I'm not on the clock. Oh, what do I do here? I might be in a pickle. I know there's a lot of good players left. I'll be okay. Eli Mitchell, man, he's so far down on the rankings. They gotta update the pre-rank list. It's crazy. I'm liking this. I got Taylor and Walker as my running back 1 and 2. I've got AJ Brown, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf. Solid. What's up, Mealy? What would you pay for Dak and Connor in a dynasty league? I don't know. Not a ton. Not a ton. I mean, it's a loaded question. I don't really love either in dynasty. So 81 in the live and only 41 thumbs up, says Mealy. Mealy's not happy with that. 88 now in the live stream. Please punch a thumbs up. Pulverize it if you're new. Subscribe. Let's get some. And on top of that, you guys play Underdog Fantasy. Go to smitty1.com/underdog. I mean, I'll put it in the chat right now and drop it and pin it real quick. But please play Underdog Fantasy. Sign up. Click the link. Deposit a measly $10 into an Underdog account. Let's see here. Oh God, am I on the clock in the other league? Almost. Okay, it's coming back my way. Go to Underdog. Go to smitty1.com. smitty1.com/underdog. Make a $10 deposit. In fact, anybody that does that now and they're new, smitty1.com/underdog, and I'm going to put it in the link and I'm going to pin it. Anybody that does this right now and they're new and they send me a screenshot, DM me on Instagram at the Fantasy Football Show. Same handle. DM me a screenshot that you did this right now and you're new, and I will give you a free 10-minute phone call ASAP, or we'll plan it out. So go to smitty1.com/underdog and deposit $10 if you're new. Send me a screenshot at the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram, and I will give you a 10-minute phone call. We'll break down trades, whatever you want. Do it live. Brandon, get somebody to sign up on your behalf, and I'll still give you the phone call, pal. I've got Javonte already. We got Javonte season activated on my roster already. Let me see the wide receivers that are available. We've got D-Hop. We've got Keenan Allen. We've got McLaurin. We've got Mike Evans. Mark Andrews just went. DK is available. Tight end wise, we got Kelsey. This is redraft. I think I'll go Kelsey here, although I do feel like we may be looking at missed games this year. I fear, but I still feel like Kelsey in redraft is still phenomenal value. Even if you've missed 2 or 3 or 4 games or something, you're still getting a monster amount of points. Give me Javonte and Kelsey all day long. Breece Hall went. That means that I could potentially balance this team out. Why don't I go with the Kelsey, Mahomes, and Javonte stack? Go early QB for once in these series of mocks. Did I time out over here? No, I didn't. Okay, I drafted a full team. So we've got, we'll go one more mock draft over here. New draft. I'll take the 12 spot, mix things up, copy the link, drop the link in the chat. Guys, please go to smitty1.com/underdog, deposit $10. If you're new, this is the first time you're doing it, send me a screenshot on Instagram at the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram, and I will give you a 10-minute phone call. Here's the next mock draft, but click that pin link and sign up. $10 minimum, very, very, very measly $10, and start playing. You know, drop some on the NCAA tournament, drop some on NBA, contests and NFL stuff. You can do all of it. So here's the link. Mock draft number Quattro. Mock draft number Quattro. Smitty from the 12 spot on mock draft 4. I'm liking this team. Javonte, Kelsey, Mahomes, JT Gibson, Breece Hall, Najee, Andrews, Hopkins, all pretty good teams. McCaffrey, AJ Brown, Walker. I like that, but McCaffrey's still too high. We can't take McCaffrey at 1.4, guys. It's way too risky. He's a 10, 11, 12, 13 overall player. But in one league, Sebastian, I'm okay with it. And it's still a good team. Like, if McCaffrey stays healthy, that's going to ball. Tariq, Kupp, Allen, Mitchell, solid. Cook, Kamara, Kittle. Very risky taking Kamara there, but maybe it pans out. Jefferson, Swift, Herbert. Love it. Actually, I like that a lot. That's a great team. That's a great balance right there. Love it. Love it, Rye. Love it, Rye. Jordan's got Chase, Mixon, Barkley. Not a fan of Barkley, but that's not horrible value. I just don't feel good about Barkley, even still, even a year later. Tyreek, Lammy, and Monty. Okay, this mock draft is full. We're starting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 QB redraft PPR like the rest of them. Boom. Eckler, Debo, Evans, Waller, very, very solid team. I love that. That's a top 14. Adams, Diggs, Keenan Allen, Pitts. Where are your running back specula? Mr. TD has got Henry, Chubb, Burrow, Aaron Jones. Where are your wide receivers, Mr. TD? You guys, like, combine forces later, and you got 2 monster squads, but what are you two doing? Ignoring an entire position. I mean, they're good-looking squads, though. We'll see how you fare. Let's go back to the other mock draft. Subscribe if you're new. Punch the smitty1.com/underdog link that's pinned in the chat and do your boy Smitty a favor and drop a $10 minimum, a measly $10 into an underdog account and you utilize it, play it. It's fun. DFS is amazing. Prop contests are phenomenal to play. Adds a lot of fun to watching football and sports. So smitty1.com/underdog. Do it, and I'll give you a free 10-minute phone call if you DM me a screenshot of your receipt. You know, obviously you don't have to share your private info, but just send me a screenshot to the Fantasy Football Show. I'll give you a 10-minute phone call. I'll dial you up on the bat line, which I have right here. And if you go to sleeperu.com, sleeper, the letter u.com, like a university, a.k.a.
Want bold year-round rankings, trade calculators, and bold predictions? Get on over to Sleeper. U.com.
Sleeperu.com. Oh, I'm on the clock here in a second here. Go to sleeperu.com. Okay, on the clock here, Javonte, Kelsey, Mahomes. Terry McLaurin is there. See there, Terry, how McLaurin fell? You took him a little early in the other one. McLaurin's still there. Running backs. Boy. Deontay's not bad here. I'll probably go. I'll go McLaurin. Am I up in this one? Oh God, I'm on the clock. Okay, crap. Oh, I timed out. That's okay. Adams is fine. Adams is fine. I'm okay with that timeout. Do I go Debo? Do I go CD? Do I go Chubb? Let's go Chubb here. 2022, I'm liking Chubb's value a lot. I think he's very injury prone. I worry about him long term, but this is redraft Adams and Chubb. I'll be okay with that. Adams is borderline 5-6 for me. The question is, I timed out on Adams, so I didn't make that pick. The question is, do you take Adams or do you take Debo? Or do you take like a CD Lamb or a player like that? I timed out on that pick. It's no problem. Oh, I'm going to time out on this pick. Smitty's getting ahead of himself, doing too many mock drafts at once. Can I find a player in time? The timer's ticking, and I timed out. It's okay. Now I can focus on this final mock draft. And I had a request if we could make it 6 rounds. Let's just keep it 5 for now, and then we'll go back. Yeah, I don't know if I have Debo over Adams or not. I'm putting my money where my mouth is right now, or trying to. I timed out on the Adams pick, but I was gonna maybe try and make him my 6th ranked wide receiver. But Adams looks good at 5 to 6. I'm actually feeling pretty decent about 5 to 6 for Adams. But I don't like him over Hill. I don't like him over Jefferson or Kupp or Chase. I think Adams at best is number 5. I don't think he's top 5 locked, but I think he's in the conversation with Debo, with Lamb at the 5-6 range for 2022. He's just no longer the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football. He's just not. He's not. I mean, the Raiders are a decent place, but they're not an upgrade. It's a downgrade. I do like ETN as well, Mealy. And guys, tonight, right after I get off of this live stream, I'm going to finish up a quarterback video ranking my top 10 quarterbacks for 2022, talking about Deshaun Watson, talking about what to expect, where do you draft him, given the 4 to 6 game suspension that could or may not be handed down. There's a lot of reason to be worried about that situation. Okay, so Adams, Chubb, let's review these teams. I'm probably not going to review it at the end. I'll review it as we go. Deshaun Watson might be a 6th, 7th rounder next year. This coming year or next year? Next year, he could be a 4th rounder, He could be right where Herbert and those guys are going. I mean, that's how high he could go. This year, it's tough to say because, 6th, 7th rounder, because he could miss 4 to 6 games. Like, who wants a quarterback that's going to miss 4 to 6 games? Let's look at this team right here. We'll start reviewing them on the way down this way. Kenneth Walker, too early. No, says Vamp. Where did Kenneth Walker go? Oh, 2.7. Yeah, a little bit too early. I like him a lot. His value could climb there, but Tariq definitely reaching a little bit there. But just definitely grab these guys, but at the right places, But you can still recover from that and have a really good team. But that is really high for Kenneth Walker given the ADP. Always try and stay as close to the ADP as you can, but don't be afraid to reach. So if Kenneth Walker is your guy, you think he's going to be a top 5 running back, top 7 running back as a rookie, don't be afraid to reach. But you do got to think about it. What are the odds that he falls? Because look, Breece Hall hasn't gone yet. What are the odds that he falls to this pick, Tariq, at 3.6? Probably pretty high, especially with your buddy leagues and stuff. You're not drafting with us who are ramping up Walker and Breece Hall's value. Like Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker are going very late. But don't be surprised, Tariq, if he goes this high later. Don't be surprised if you've got to pay 2.7 later. But just do your best to not overpay. Tariq had a phenomenal... Tariq, turn off your auto draft. Go to the queue and unselect it. That's still a good squad, Tariq. Eckler, Walker, Kittle. I'm liking it. B. Mabbitt, Scott Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and Herbert. That's how you draft, B. Mabbitt. That's how you do it.
You've just been Smitty approved.
That's how you do it, broski. You went from being in Smitty's ADP ruining doghouse to absolutely crushing this slot right here. I'm fine with that Herbert selection. Don't let anybody get mad at you over that. Javonte, Allen, and Waddle. That's very solid. That's probably top 6 there, Jimmy. Top 5 maybe. I better get to my queuing. I better get to queuing players. Man, I don't know what to do here. I wish Breece Hall would have fallen. Oh God, what do? Got a running back, got a wide receiver. I'm not like married to a certain position. I mean, DK feels early there, but he really was the best option. I'm going to go unorthodox here and build a certain way. I'm taking some reaches, but I've also got 2 potential values. So when I'm constructing a team, I do kind of look at that. And I say, hey, I've got Adams and Chubb, very safe 1st and 2nd drafted players. Metcalf's a little bit of a reach, but not really. I mean, the 4th round, essentially. Kyle Pitts is a tiny bit of a reach, but very, very worth it. My 2 reaches have a lot of ceiling value. So I'm okay with Adams, Chubb, Metcalf, and Pitts. I think that would be a really good team. Does Adams help Waller? I don't think so, Mark. I don't think so. It's going to be hard to help Waller. There's just too many mouths to feed. But you never know. I do like Waller. Like Waller right here, where Jordan got him, that's not bad. That's good value. But Jordan has no wide receivers, so I don't know if I love that approach. You go triple running back, and then you go with the tight end. You know, instead of getting Knox or Freiermuth later and not getting that wide receiver. I think that could prove to be a mistake. McCaffrey, 1.8, still feels too early. Lamb, Breece Hall, Deontay, still a very good squad. It's still a top 6 team, potentially. Kenny, Chase, Swift, Mahomes, Allen, love it, top 6 team. Dak is GOAT, has Tyreek Hill, Debo, Mitchell, Patterson. Patterson's way too early, bro. Henry, Diggs, McLaurin, Burrow. I do like your first 3 picks, though. Henry, Diggs, McLaurin, Burrow, very interesting. Adams, Chubb, Metcalf, Pitts. I've drafted better teams, but I don't mind this team. I think this team could be top 6. Eckler, Walker, Kittle, Montgomery. No wide receivers yet. Could be tough. I don't know that I would have went Montgomery without wide receivers. M. Mabbitt has Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Herbert, ETN. I love the ETN pick. You are going a little risky with no running back yet, but I love the ETN pick. That's a very good pick, very diverse. Potential big upside for him. Javonte, Allen, Waddle, Judy. Love that team so far. Top 5. Kupp, Barkley, Evans, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray could be a disaster this year unless he turns things around. I hope he does. I will be rooting for him. I'll be in his corner if he does turn his attitude around and starts being a leader. But this could be an unraveling season for him. I sense a dark cloud over him right now that he's got to clear that out or he's going to have a really bad year. Barkley at 2.10 seems way too early. I love the Kupp pick, obviously, even though it's a little bit of a reach. But I think there's a lot of reaches going on this squad. Najee, Kamara is risky at 2.1. You just don't know if he's going to be suspended half a year, 4 games, 6 games, no games. Andrews, Godwin, Stafford. That team's interesting. JT, Kelsey, Hopkins, Aaron Jones, Fournette. That could be pretty solid. Let me start queuing some people up so I don't time out. Very, very interesting mock drafts today, people. Good job. I like what we saw. We saw a lot of diversity, a lot of different thinking. Even Tariq, when I said too early here, too early there, it's still you're trying things out, and I like that. I like that you're exploring your opportunities and kind of seeing what, how far can you push this, how far can you push that. That's what it's all about. So don't take it the wrong way when I say that guy's too early. Like, you're just trying it out. Kenny has Jamar Chase, Swift, Mahomes, Keenan Allen. That's great. That's a great squad. I like it a lot. Is Kelsey the number 1 tight end? If you said he'll miss time. My thinking on that, let me see. Do I take Russell Wilson here? Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson, either one. I mean, I have some doubts about Lamar. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a big year. I like that squad. So, good question. Let's talk about it. Kelsey. Kelsey tight end 1. What do you guys think? I think here's the tough conversation is this. And where's that question? Let me put that question on the screen here. Kelsey, the number 1 tight. This is from Tyler. It's a good question, Tyler. If he misses time, is he the tight end 1? I think I like Kyle Pitts for the draft value more. I'm not going to say he's not tight end 1. He's tight end 1. But would I rather buy Kyle Pitts in round 5? Like 5.1 or 4.1 to 5.1. Like, you might get him anywhere in there. You might be really hard pressed to get Kyle Pitts at 5.1, but I'm just saying I've seen him fall all around that area. Different amounts of time has he stayed in one place over another. I'd rather have Kyle Pitts as my 4th drafted player than Kelsey as my 2nd. So I would say, in theory, he's the tight end 1. Like, I'm ranking tight ends, he's tight end 1. But I'm avoiding drafting him if I can. And in this draft, before this one, I did draft him. But I do that when I feel like there's no other options, and I'm at the 12, I'm at the 1 pick, and I'm at the 24, 25 turn picks in the 2nd and 3rd round turn. And it's like Kelsey's there, and there's no other options. You guys have sniped the heck out of me. I'll go Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall probably over Kelsey more times than not. But Kelsey's the tight end 1, but is he the guy you want to draft? I'd rather draft Knox in round 7, Freiermuth in round 7. Like, look, I ranked number 1 in the entire fantasy football industry for tight end rankings last year. The year before, no, but then the year before that, number 1. So 2 out of the last 3 years, I've ranked number 1. And over the last 3 years, average, I've ranked number 1. Because I'm very good at identifying Freiermuth and Knox. And credit to the guy a long time ago that said Freiermuth, and I made fun of him on the show, like, really, really early on in the last offseason. Like, just want him to know that. I like Freiermuth a lot right now. But his situation is kind of garbage, right? We were hoping he would get Watson. We were hoping he'd get a huge upgrade. But maybe he still gets some kind of quarterback upgrade that we can't see right now. Like Malik Willis might land there in some kind of trade up, or he falls and all of a sudden he's got a quarterback. But you've got several players that have this breakout potential. I called Hawkinson and Waller, not this last year, the year prior, and had both of them ranked higher than anybody in the entire fantasy football industry. And you may ask, how can you make those statements? Fantasy Pros takes a look at it, they compile it, and they look at everybody across the entire industry. I had Hawkinson and Waller ranked higher than anybody. And so I ranked number 1 that year, and I ranked number 1 the 2 years prior. And it's Dalton Schultz, it's Freiermuth, it is Dawson Knox. These are the tight ends that, and let me just go into the tight end rankings, and I'll just call off all the tight ends that I like that have the potential. And let me go from the top. So Kyle Pitts, clearly, like, he's not going to be a sleeper, but you draft him, like I said, in place of Kelsey. You take Kelsey in round 2, or you take Kyle Pitts in the middle of 4. Kyle Pitts in the middle of 4 could be the winning tight end, like the winning move for your team to win your league, because he could literally be worth, in hindsight, a 2nd rounder. He could be worth what Kelsey's worth in hindsight, and Kyle Pitts is going in the middle of 4, sometimes at 5.1. So Kyle Pitts is like the number 1 name to call out, but he's not an unknown name. He's very, very well liked, very much on everyone's radar. Goddard's interesting, obviously. Dawson Knox is probably number 1, or Dalton Schultz. Look, the Dallas Cowboys are the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, or number 5 offense in the NFL probably in 2022. They were the number 1 last year. With Amari Cooper vacating targets, and with Gallup very injury prone, you're talking about a guy in Schultz that can come in and scoop up and gobble up a lot of that target share that was vacated by Amari Cooper. So Schultz could have 10, 12, 13 TDs this year. Like, I love Schultz. So Dawson Knox, Schultz, Freiermuth, Noah Fant did have value until he got traded away, so I'm not super high on him right now. Logan Thomas is interesting. Zach Ertz in Arizona is interesting given his ADP. Brevin Jordan, watch out for him, but I'm not extremely excited yet. But, obviously just keep an eye on him. And Njoku could get a big bump in value now that he's got Watson throwing him the football. So those are kind of the guys to look out for. But the top 3 are, and not in any specific order, Schultz, Knox, and Freiermuth. These are the potential Waller and Hawkinsons of 2022. And in Dynasty, Schultz, Freiermuth, and Schultz, Freiermuth, and Knox all have good dynasty value as well. Like, I'm scooping them up in dynasty on top of that. And then you look at Waller. Waller is falling pretty far. So if Waller falls to like round 4 or 5, I love that. I think some people might overvalue him with Adams there. I think it could be the opposite. He could take away, but Waller at 4 or 5 can win a league. Like, so there are 5 tight ends I feel can win a league at their ADP. 2 are very, very obvious and on people's radars, but people are overlooking it. Like, it's still very good win a league type value. Kyle Pitts in the 4.1 to 5.1 range. I love that. Love Kyle Pitts. I want Kyle Pitts in 2, 3, 4 leagues this year. 20-30% of my leagues I want Kyle Pitts in. Waller at 4th or 5th round value can win you a league. Those are the 2 big names. Waller and Kyle Pitts. 2 big names on radars that can win leagues. The 3 guys that are more under the radar, still very well known, but under the radar, still Freiermuth, Dawson Knox, and Dalton Schultz. Those are your 5 tight ends to look for in 2022. The reason why you don't take Kelsey 9 times out of 10 in the second round. That's my tight end analysis there. So good question, Tyler. Good little segment. Maybe we'll cut that up and throw that on the Dynasty channel and then do a little bit more original content around it, because I think that's a good topic. And that was an hour into the show. So good question, Tyler. Very good question. Do you follow March Madness at all? Absolutely, I do. I've been a little bit preoccupied with free agency this year, so I dropped the ball on being fully prepared for my brackets, and I definitely had a bunch of I did 2 brackets this year. Normally I do like 10. I did 2 brackets. They busted pretty early on, and I didn't have time to prepare and absorb, because really you can follow it all year, but it really does some good to like absorb the final 2 days going into it and just take in everything you can and then to kind of reevaluate. And I definitely had some busted, two brackets that busted kind of midway through. Maybe they come around because I do a lot of those seed times rounds, so I could have a comeback on my hands if a few teams make it another round or 2. But I didn't have time. Look, free agency was off the hook this year. This is the most crazy free agency we've ever seen in football. It's been the most fun free agency I've ever been a part of, and I've covered it for 20 years. I've scouted and covered the NFL draft and free agency from a professional perspective for 20 years straight. This is year 20, and this is the most aggressive, most enjoyable, most news-breaking, and part of it, social media is getting, it's growing in the access we have, the instant access we have, and the players connected to it all makes it even more exciting and makes it probably more hyped and probably drives a lot of the team interactions, because everything's more instant. It's not just a phone call gets picked up and then we wait for an ESPN report like 4 hours later. So that definitely adds to it. But I feel like this is the best offseason we've ever had on our hands in the history of me covering the NFL. And this comes right after a year where we had the best draft ever. Like, last year was the best and most fun draft to be a part of. All the offensive skill position players that got taken. Just a phenomenal draft to be involved in. So yeah, what a great 2 years we've had in terms of those 2 things. Pro days coming up for a lot of these players. The rookie draft coming up. We still got a lot of free agency to go through. There's still some big names that can drop or get traded. Matt Ryan could still end up getting traded to the Colts. I think that's still a possibility. Not extremely likely because his contract is so crazy, but the Colts can take it on. They're the one team with the cap space to be like, whatever, bring in Matt Ryan. We'll still take him. We still are interested. Trade him to us. Matt Ryan's got to want to leave. After, potentially being looked at being replaced by Deshaun Watson. So he's probably not feeling real loved right now. I could see Matt Ryan saying, get me out of here. And Indy saying, we'll take him. And you put Matt Ryan on a Colts roster, and all of a sudden you have JT with Matt Ryan. JT becomes a whole lot more safe. Without a quarterback right now in Indy, there are some reasons to be concerned about JT right now. given the expectation level, given that we're thinking, okay, he's going to blow every other running back out of the water, not so fast. If you have Javonte with Wilson now, you've got JT with who? Like, even if they get Jimmy G, big downgrade to JT from last year. Regardless of what you think of Carson Wentz, and look, Jimmy G can't throw down the field past 20 yards accurately. Jimmy G can't stay healthy. If you sink a bunch of money into a trade for Jimmy G and he gets hurt, what are you going to do? You don't have any backup plans unless they bring in a Mariota and a Jimmy G or something like that to cover their bases. You're in trouble. Jimmy G's not the answer. If Jimmy G lands in Indy, JT is going to be a concern for me a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. Like, I don't think he'll be as efficient. Kind of think about Najee Harris last year. He was still amazing, right? He was still amazing, but he had bad quarterback play and bad offensive line play. Now, granted, the Colts have good offensive line play, but they will play at a lower level. The entire offense will play at a lower level if they don't have a good quarterback under center. So they need to make a trade. Now, if Baker goes to the Colts, I don't love Baker personality-wise. I don't think he's a leader. I don't think he leads the Colts to multiple playoff wins, but I do believe Baker's an upgrade over Jimmy G or some of the other options we might be looking at landing in a Colts uniform. I think Baker is the second best option at this point, unless they're smart and trade for Tyler Huntley from the Ravens. Bring Huntley over and have him command this roster and this team. He would be a great asset for the Indianapolis Colts, and he's a great quarterback, I think, on the rise if he gets the opportunity. If I'm the Colts, I'm offering a second rounder for Tyler Huntley, which the Ravens would accept, I think, in a heartbeat. Why coaches don't see the talent in Tyler Huntley after what he did in a very short period of time? Yeah, he made some mistakes. Yeah, he needs to work on his accuracy. What quarterback that has never started games before, what quarterback walks in and is flawless? So Minshew would be great too, James. I've mentioned that before, and I didn't on this show, and I'm super glad you mentioned that to remind me. Minshew would be pretty good. Minshew would be equivalent to, I think, what Wentz was able to do last year, but with better leadership. Minshew, I worry about staying healthy, but Minshew under center, phenomenal choice of the leftovers that are currently on the board. Like, am I disappointed the Colts didn't get a bigger name? If they don't get Matt Ryan, am I disappointed? Yeah. Am I worried a little bit about JT? Yeah. Am I less worried about JT with Minshew under center? Absolutely a little less worried than I would be with the other options that are on the table. But Minshew worries me still because he could get hurt. He doesn't play through full seasons. At least we haven't seen it. Hopefully he can. But Minshew under center in Indy would be a phenomenal stopgap measure as they try and replace and find their ultimate, end game quarterback, the guy that can take them into the next 10 years or decade, as JT has, 4 years left maybe of being an elite running back, because running backs have a short shelf life. You got to get a quarterback under center before you lose some value in JT and run him into the ground, because running backs don't last 10 years anymore. They just don't. JT's got 3 or 4 or 5 years, probably 4. 3 or 4 is probably more realistic than actually saying he's got 5 or 6 or 7. People are delusional. JT owners seriously think that he probably can go 7 years because they own him. But the fact remains, these running backs, especially when you're getting usage to the tune of a top 1 to 2 overall fantasy football running back, that means the volume is extremely heavy. If you're ranking number 1 in fantasy football for all running backs, your volume is through the roof. You're getting overworked. You can't be a top 2 or 3 overall fantasy football running back in fantasy football if you're not getting overworked type volume. JT is going to get overworked. He's probably got 3 to 4 years left at best. You got to make a move. You got to get a quarterback under center. The Colts are dropping the ball. Maybe they end up pushing this Matt Ryan deal through. They bring Matt Ryan over. Guess what? They're a multiple playoff win team. Do I think they win the Super Bowl? No. Winning the Super Bowl is hard. Only one team wins the Super Bowl. You can't blame a team or call it a failed season because they don't win the Super Bowl. But they do need to be competitive. They do need to have a shot at winning a Super Bowl. And Matt Ryan gives them the best opportunity of all the options currently on the table right now that are possible options. I agree, Smitty. I have number 1 pick since I won the championship in one of the leagues, I'm hesitant to take JT because of the quarterback situation. I like Derrick Henry or Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams could quietly be my number one overall running back, but I'm going to say this about Henry. I understand where you're probably coming from on Henry, but Henry is way more risky than JT, bro. Way more risky. JT's at risk of being inefficient at times, not at risk of necessarily getting hurt or dropping off a cliff, okay? JT, when I say I'm worried about JT, I'm worried about JT at 1 versus like 2 or 3. Like if Javonte's getting all the work, I love Javonte. I quietly want to have the 2nd or 3rd overall pick right now because I'm worried about JT being better than Javonte. I'd rather move down potentially or be in that spot and get the crafty 1.1 in Javonte. But Henry is a whole different story. JT's elite. JT might be less efficient. JT might get a tiny bit more yard per carry action than he did last year. Maybe some less red zone looks, maybe a couple less touchdowns, stuff like that. But Henry could fall off the face of the earth. Henry's got a plate in his foot, and this man's walking around with a plate in his foot right here, and he's got 250 pounds that he's smashing on the ground over and over. And if you watched him in the playoff game, granted he was rusty, granted he might get in better shape, and it's tough to judge a guy his first game back after a lengthy absence in recovery, but he came back and he didn't look the same. So while he could still look the same, while Henry should be given kind of the benefit of the doubt to get better than he did in that playoff game and to get back to form, I agree he should get the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, at number 3 or 4 overall, or in a conversation where we're talking about JT and Henry, that's not a conversation I'm willing to have. Henry should be down in the first round more. I'm willing to maybe take that chance with him down a ways, but I'm still selling him after a month of playing because the man's going to break. The man has had more carries and usage in a tiny window than any player in the league. And you could say, okay, Smitty, but Zeke Elliott's got near 2,000 touches and Henry is like breaching over like 1,100 or something. Don't quote me on that exact number, but I believe Henry's around like 1,100, 1,200 total touches. Zeke Elliott's near 2,000. And the initial reaction a person has when you tell them that is that, oh my God, well, Henry can go to 2,000 then. No, a lot of it happens to be, has to do with how short of a window you get those touches. If you spread them out differently, you can maybe last longer. But Henry's had a majority of all of his touches between the tackles, so they're a little bit more aggressive of touches for Henry versus Elliott, who's dividing a lot of it up into receptions where you're getting hit by defensive backs, you're running out of bounds, you're getting hit by a lot smaller players, whereas Henry's going up the gut. People are trying to smash this man into the ground, lower body shots because no one wants to tackle him from the waist up. He's at a much higher risk of getting hurt than Elliott is during every single game, because Henry's doing all of his work up the gut, the tough work. People don't want to tackle this man. But when you watched Henry even last year before his injury, when he was doing really well, getting 27 carries a game, which was going to break him, when he was doing well, getting 27 carries a game in the beginning of the season, when I told you to trade him before double-digit weeks, right in that early part, Henry was going nuts. But if you watch the games and if you owned him, you know that in the first quarter, sometimes first 2 quarters, he didn't do much. He doesn't look ultra quick or hit the hole with speed and quickness. He is a wear you down in the 3rd and 4th quarter running back. No one wants to tackle this man. He'd start off the game in the first quarter and a half and have 30 yards, no touchdowns. A lot of the time, that's how it went down. If you owned him, you knew that. And then by the end of the 3rd and 4th quarter, you look at the ticker across the top. If you're watching the red zone and you didn't catch every carry, he's got 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, he wears you down. And while there's a shot, he still might be able to do that. You got to think about this. The last thing we saw was him not looking like that. And I know, again, it was 1 game back from recovering. He didn't have, the conditioning, and maybe he needs an entire offseason to get right. I get it. But the last thing we've seen was the man not looking the same. The last time we saw him, and every time we see him from now moving forward, he'll have a plate in his foot. He's a plotter. He needs to be able to have the explosion on the foot, or he can't wear down defenses. And most importantly, my most important point here is Derrick Henry can't be Derrick Henry if he's not getting 27 carries a game. 25 at a minimum. Derrick Henry needs 25 carries a game to be Derrick Henry. And if the Titans are going to be reckless and give him 25 carries a game or 27, he will break. Therefore, it's a double-edged sword. If Henry gets a lower amount of carries in order to keep him healthy, he won't be Derrick Henry any longer. He needs 25 to 27 to rip off those long runs and wear defenses out. So you have a catch-22, you have a double-edged sword. He's either going to not be Derrick Henry because he's going to be saved and limited and getting 18 carries a game and not breaking off the big long runs, or he's Derrick Henry. They give him 27 carries a game and he breaks by mid-season at the very latest. So for me, I'm avoiding him, especially if we're talking about JT versus Derrick Henry. If we're talking about Derrick Henry at the bottom of the first round, maybe in one league I'll take that chance. Maybe. I don't even know yet. I've got to digest it more and look at it more, take a look at what I'm hearing and seeing in the offseason. I know everybody gets excited when he's got the big chains on his neck and he's doing the push-ups, on rubber bands floating in the air, and it's impressive. But this is a 250-pound running back. It's not good that he's different. He's built different. He's not human. He's built different. You hear that all the time. Eddie George was built different, but he slowed. It ends up happening, and running backs are slowing more in today's football than in the past. Guys used to get 5-6 years of elite play out before they decline. They used to hit 30 years old. The age of 30 is when a running back would decline. At 30 years old, there was a death sentence for running backs. They hit 30, boom, you have to trade them away in fantasy. Now, these guys that are getting the volume so big that it makes them a top 5 fantasy football running back, the volume is so abusive to get to that level, they break at 26, 27 now. You can't even get past 26, 27 if you're getting elite fantasy football volume, and Henry has been getting force-fed more than elite fantasy football volume. He's been getting overfed. So Henry is a big concern for me. If you draft him, trade him after a month of playing. If you get a good month out of Derrick Henry and you're lucky enough to see the old Derrick Henry emerge and not have this Henry, this shell of Henry remain, and you spent the high draft capital and now you can't trade him. If you're lucky enough to get the old Henry to show up and you do invest in him, make sure you trade him when he's popping off after a month of football. Jump early, don't jump late. Don't be holding the bag. Jump early, do not jump late. Mark my words, you will regret it if you hang on to him too long thinking he's going to do it all year long, because he probably won't. Next question here, Smitty. When are you guys going to realize that human body is not built? Smitty, when are guys going? Not you guys. When are guys going to realize that the human body is not built to last long in in professional football? Especially when you're bigger and people say he's built different. It's not a good thing. He's 6'3", 6'3.5", 250 pounds, hitting the ground over and over. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. That phrase isn't just for giggles, for shiats and giggles. It is literally said because it is true. You hit the ground as a bigger person, it's harder to get up. It does more damage to your body. This man cannot endure 25 to 27 carries a game moving forward. He's just gonna break. Not to mention, you run for the 2,000 yards, you break. When you run for 2,000 yards, 8 running backs have done it in history. When you run for 2,000 yards, almost a lock to never be the same ever again. Disagree. Henry has proven resume, rush for 2,000 yards, and he's one of the best running backs in the last 10 years. Zion hasn't done anything. You guys are talking about Zion? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Guys, $20 super chat gets you into the Cooper Cup League. If you guys want into that league, let me know. Here are the details on the Cooper Cup League. If you haven't heard about it, here you go. It's not an entry fee of any kind, but people that are dropping a $20 super chat to help the show out are getting into this 96 team, 8 copies of every player, meaning that the draft's going to feel like a 12-team league. you're going to have at pick 96 Devontae Adams at 96 because there's 8 copies of every player. Here are the details. It's a $20 super chat if you want in. There are probably 25 spots left out of the 96 if you want in. It's going to be the most talked about league.
I give you Fantasy Cup 2022.
15 rounds. 96 owners. That's 1,440 picks. 8 copies of every player in the player pool.
That means Jonathan Taylor will likely consume all of picks 1 through 8. And Henry and Cup could make up most of picks 9 through 24.
60-minute timer.
This draft could take 80 days to complete.
96 owners, 15 rounds, 8 copies of every player in the player pool.
1 division of 96. 1 winner.
I give you Fantasy Cup 2022.
So if you want in that league, you do not want to miss out on that league because we are going to absolutely talk about it constantly. I know the door leagues we didn't bring into the show during the season too often because it was difficult the way I had it set up. It was a take a lap moment on my part. I had multiple leagues set up because we tried to fit 96 teams into 20. Leagues could only be as big as 20 people in a league on Sleeper, so it just made it a mess. Now we're on My Fantasy League doing this. All 96 teams are in one division. I'm going to share screen and literally show you the standings every week. I'll show you who's in the lead for the autographed Joe Montana, Jerry Rice Hall of Fame 49er helmet, which is going to the person that wins it if they can beat Grant. If Grant finishes first, nobody gets the helmet because it's Grant's helmet that he's surrendering and giving up. Then we've got the Super Bowl ring. For the Fantasy Football Super Bowl ring, this is a $150 to $300 value. It's a heavy-duty ring. These are not these $39 rings that you see for trophies. This is an actual big-time company that makes these heavy Super Bowl-feeling rings. They look like Super Bowl rings. They feel like Super Bowl rings. That's the whole point of it. This is about a $150 to $300 ring. Comes in this amazing box that if you pull this out next to your girl, she's thinking you're proposing the moment you have this box in your hand. So be very careful where you hold this box and how you hold this box, because you might have yourself in for a rough night if you sit there and go, "Hey honey, look what I got today," and she goes, "Oh my God, yes, of course I will," and then you are in trouble. You are in trouble. Get your spot in the league. $20 super chat secures it. 25 spots remain. Jump in and do it. Do it live. Do it now. Don't forget to click on the pinned link I have in the chat, or go to smitty1.com/underdog and join Underdog. $10 minimum. Help your boy Smitty. I can't tell you how much this helps my channel when you guys do it, first of all. So it's $10. Minimum deposit. If you like helping me out, you like helping the channel out, do that. But more importantly, if you like dropping over-unders and over-under contests and props and DFS and best ball, you can use that $10 to try out a league and get into best ball. Don't miss out. Click the link. It's pinned in the chat, or just go to smitty1.com/underdog and help your boy Smitty. So I talked about Henry a ton. Definitely a player I'm avoiding in 2022 at a certain level. Like, could I find myself liking Henry at the turn picks in 12, 13, 14, 15 overall draft slots? Yeah, I could get behind that, but he's not going to fall there. We have people arguing him around 4 or 5, and I would rather take Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. I'd rather take the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football than to bank on Henry staying healthy. That's just how I feel, and no one's going to change my mind in that regard. But I understand why somebody might feel differently than I do, and to each their own. So it's all good. How would you guys feel about CMC for Chubb, Tyreek, in 2.1? Well, let's just put it this way, Rav. You would be absolutely CD lambing that individual. You're gonna burrow that individual. Where's our get burrowed? If you pull this trade off, if you can get Nick Chubb, Tyreek Hill, and a 2.1 for CMC, because Chubb and Christian McCaffrey have very similar values, but maybe Chubb's safer for 2022. And even if this is redraft, bro, I don't know how you could pull that off. But where's my get burrowed? I don't know. You're gonna lamb him. I got a lamb button here for you. Okay.
Getting getting lammed.
That guy's getting lammed if you get Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb in the 2.1. You out of your mind? Why are you even asking that? Take a lap for even asking me this question.
Take a lap.
And then take a victory lap. Rav Roop, take a victory lap and pat yourself on the back as you run that lap because you just hit a home run. Good sir. If you traded CMC for Tyreek Chubb in the 2.1. I don't care if it's a keeper league, redraft league, your grandma's league, your mama's league. Doesn't matter, Rav. You were dropping fire by trading Christian McCaffrey. Chubb and McCaffrey have very similar dynasty values. You're getting Tyreek Hill and 2.1, bro. That's a home run. Take a double lap. 1 for asking, 2 victory lap. Take a victory lap. Do it now. It's a crazy trade. Innocent people getting laps. Sometimes I send innocent people on laps all the time. It just happens. It's fine. It's part of it. We call it spillage. We call it spillage. Occasionally, we're gonna have innocent people fall into the lap zone, and I get caught up. I get excited. I get hangry because I'm fasting. I'm doing that intermittent fasting. I haven't eaten yet at all today. I haven't had a breadcrumb. I haven't had a breadcrumb to eat. And I don't need to hear that's not healthy. I don't care. It works for me. I'm hangry. The shows are better for it. You know how many people come to me on a daily basis and say, Smitty, stop eating. The shows have been phenomenal lately. When you're starving yourself, you put on a show, good man. Don't eat again. In fact, if you eat before a show, I'm not coming on to watch. It's fine. It'll work out. I'm getting hangry. Sure. But it helps the content. It helps me stay sharp. My mind's never been sharper than it is right now when I'm starving it. You go into a state of euphoria, and you can pull from places in your brain that you never could pull before. And people do take laps. That's spillage. I might send the wrong person on a lap. That is spillage. I like the old beat on Take a Lap, Smitty. Had a nice beat. We got it, bro. Let me find it.
Take a lap. Take a lap.
That one?
Take a lap.
Is that the one you like, bro? Eat an apple and a carrot. But part of it, Mealy, is not eating anything. You're intermittent fasting. You're causing your body to starve itself, and then eventually it turns on yourself, and it starts eating away your fat because your body's so hungry. It says, this fool is not going to feed me. This fool forgot to eat. This fool literally forgot to eat. Okay, well, we have some stored fat. Let's go to the fridge. And it starts like that's the whole point. So while you're right, Mealy, I'll eat carrots at night. I'll take a little half teaspoon of ranch, put it on a plate, and just put a pile of carrots on. It's under 100 calories, and I'll just eat away. And I love it. The carrots are great. Carrot with a little bit of ranch. Mwah. But I can't eat when I'm intermittent fasting because the whole point is to not have anything. But yeah, it's working well. It's working well. We're dropping the LBs. I'm down from 225. I haven't done a lot of the updates, but I'm down from 225 to 213, 212. So we're dropping good, and it's been what 20 days. So I have another 10 days to get down to 200 to meet my goal of 25 pounds, going from 225 to 199, 26 pounds in 30 days. I've got 11 days left. I'm wearing my Take a Lap shirt right now, the red one. Attaboy, Terry. Terry's got a whole wardrobe of the Fantasy Football Show apparel. And if you guys want anything, you can obviously go to my my merch store, which is smitty1.com/merch. And you can purchase the hoodies and all those things. So go to smitty1.com/merch if you do want any of the show apparel. I am out of here. I appreciate everybody watching. Hit the thumbs up on your way out the door. Subscribe if you're new. And almost more importantly, but not really because they're all important. All three things are important. Liking the video. Subscribing is probably most important. But commenting is most important in a sense for you right now in this moment. It's your time to shine. It's your time. Mom spaghetti. Your palms are sweaty. You've got something to ask Smitty. And I will answer in the chat as fast as I can. Okay, I sit here and I answer every single question. I'm a little bit behind on yesterday's and the day befores, but I do go through them all. Anybody in here where I haven't answered your question lately, I will get to it, and you know that because I've done it in the past. So hang tight. I'm going to go through every comment I can. I literally try to answer lately. I used to say one comment, I'll answer anybody's comment in the next 12 to 24 hours. That's still true. But I literally am trying to answer every single question now. And I'm behind about a day or two, but I'm going to get to it. Ask a question in this comment section right when I end the video. Appreciate everybody being here. And of course, we'll emergency live stream if any news breaks that's major today. Not something small, but like something big, anything big. If something big happens, immediately come to my YouTube channel because I'm live. If you aren't notified by your app, because you're supposed to hit the bell icon and activate all the notification alerts. But if you don't, for whatever reason, okay? And big news breaks, don't think, oh, where do I learn about this? Know that I'm live right that moment for you. I will see you all later. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Mealy. Thank you, Meet the Woo. Thank you, Jordan. Let's get back to the putting on the stuff as we exit the building on the screen, if you know what I mean. Take it easy, everybody. Appreciate you.